I read 101 books in 2024, and these are the 5 that I rated 5 stars. In June, I believe, I pulled from my TBR jar Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas, and it is just as good as everybody said it was. This is about a young trans boy who wants to prove to his family that he is a real brujo. So he performs a ritual that goes a little bit awry and accidentally ends up summoning the ghost of a classmate that nobody knows is dead, not even the kid himself. This book is so good. I could not put it down. I read most of this on a single flight, and I just couldn't stop. I also couldn't stop crying. This is probably the book that made me cry the most this year. Maybe not the most. It's up there. In July, I read Black Tide Sun by H.M. Long. This is the sequel to Darkwater Daughter, one of my favorite reads from last year, and I cannot wait for book 3, which is Red Tempest Brother, which comes out next year. This is the perfect sequel. Everything about this is exactly what I wanted it to be. Especially in a trilogy, like making sure that second book doesn't just feel like a bridge between books 1 and 3. Obviously not saying much about what the book is about because it's a sequel, and like, go read Darkwater Daughter. If you are into like pirate fantasy, adventure fantasy, like action adventure, you should be reading these. They're so good. And finally, in the beginning of December, I read Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wong. I am not at all surprised that this is phenomenal. I love the Sword of Kaigen, and I think I like Blood Over Brighthaven even more. M.L. Wong has shown yet again what a fantastic character writer she is. I'm being blinded, but in the absolute broadest strokes possible, this is about a young woman who strives her whole life to become the first female high mage in her society, and when she gets there, not only is it not quite what she expected, but she learns information that fundamentally shakes her worldview, and the important parts of this book are about what you do with that kind of information. What would you do to get the power that you have been systematically denied, and what would you do about finding out about your direct complicity in somebody else's oppression when you realize that your oppression does not overshadow anybody else's, but you've been so blind to anything but what you were working on that you've missed the entire world around you. What changes? This is so good. So yes, of the 101 books that I read last year, these are the 5 that I rated 5 stars.